Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw number 204, another 7 curious, interesting things I saw last week. So as ever, let's crack on. The first one is from the University of Hong Kong, and this is a self-guided drone. It can do up to 20 meters per second, which is 45 miles an hour in old speak. And it has a little dome on top of it with a LiDAR sensor in it, which can sense 70 meters around it, which is that little smudge on the right-hand side, that little kind of rainbow smudge, is how it interprets the world. So it can see to a resolution of 2.5 millimeters. So that's kind of string and twigs, which is why it's so good at getting through trees, I guess. Now, some really good videos on the website of people running through woods and it following them, doing a really good job. And they say it's going to be really useful for things like search and rescue. Now, you and I know this is going to have a military application. So quite frankly, if you cannot run 45 miles an hour through the woods, then this thing is going to get you. This is news from Vodafone, and bonus points for having a Labrador in the video. Appreciate that. But they've done their first ever, I have to read this, first ever space-based mobile video call using an unmodified phone. So this chap here is in a valley in Wales where they cannot get any cell coverage, and he's calling a satellite, which is essentially a cell tower in the sky. So rather than going across, it's just going straight up, which is really cool. Vodafone are then connecting it to a video call and doing a video call. So, and then it's then obviously coming back down the same route. So if you live somewhere that doesn't actually get any video or mobile coverage, then this might well be it. So there you go. AST, by the way, are low Earth orbiting satellites. They've been doing this for years, but this is the first time they've done a video call, apparently. So well done. That's kind of interesting. Other world first, this is the Boom XB1. It is the first time a commercial jet has flown supersonic since Concorde. So this is quite exciting. This is a test bed for the Overture airplane, which is obviously the future version of this. Will probably have between 50 and 80 passengers and will fly at 1.7 times the speed of sound, or 1.7 Mach, as us experts call it, I guess. But this test went 3 times during the same test over the speed, the supersonic speed, up to 1.122. Mach, which is 750 miles an hour. So that's pretty cool. If you're interested, Concorde, as I said, 2003 was its last flight. Clearly there were some tragic accidents before that, but that went at 2.1 Mach. So it won't be quite as fast as Concorde, but it will be quieter and it will be more modern. There you go. This is Mike Godfrey, and I do implore you to watch this video. It is just bonkers. He is replicating, probably even more bonkers, in 1959, William McClellan made the world's smallest handmade electric motor. So that's what Mike is actually replicating here. You can see how small it is. This is the windings for one of the 4 windings of the motor. That little brown thing is actually a toothpick with glue on it. That's how small it is. So those are the windings. He's made it all by hand using a microscope, essentially like a jeweler's lathe, which I just think is brilliant. So these people exist amongst us. Why would you do this? Just because you can. So the entire motor will fit inside a grain of sand, so 0.4 millimeter cube. So well done, Mike. Loving your work. Go and watch the video. It is just brilliant. This is the future of fridges. We need to talk about fridges. They use apparently 20% of the world's energy. So that's also for things like air conditioning units and whatnot. So there's been a new breakthrough, or at least an advancement, in that if you use thermogalvanic cells using ions, what they can do is they can turn on the electricity, and what it then does is it heats up the anode, cools down the cathode. If you can wick the temperature away, or the heat away from the anode, it leaves a net negative temperature, i.e. cooling. So this might be the future of fridges, and we can start sort of digging into that 20% energy that the world can have back. But also this is 70% more efficient than the previous version used. Really interesting. So fridges might be quieter in the future. Simple as that. So very exciting news. This is Spline Spell, and it's part of the Spline platform, and it allows you to create 3D models using either a text prompt, like an AI, because it is one, or using an image as input. So you give it an image, it will then infer all the 3D-ness of it, and it will then create it. So you can then explore them using Gaussian splatting. So they're doing all the cool things of right now. So if you've not played with Gaussian splatting, do head over to the website and have a play with it. It's just kind of interesting. Now, if you want to create models yourself, you do need to have a paid version of it. You can't do anything unless you do the paid version. I tried, but it does look pretty cool. Also, if you've not seen Gaussian splatting, do have a look, because it starts to show you some of the limitations, but also just how efficient it is. So there you go. And finally, if you, like me, you're a bit irritated by Google's AI overviews, only because they kind of steal other people's work and they're usually inaccurate as well, and they're just irritating. Somebody's found a way of getting rid of them, which I think is brilliant. If you put a really spicy swear word in with your Google prompt, it won't do the AI overview. It just sort of backs out of it and doesn't want anything to do with it. So it needs to be a pretty good sort of A-lister, top shelf swear word. So things like wee and poop won't cut it. You need some pretty good ones. But as you say, how to boil an egg versus how to boil an egg with the F word in it, you get two different versions of it, one with and without the AI overview. So play with that yourself. And I just love the fact that, you know, people are finding these things out all the time. There's clearly some sort of thing in the back end. So there you go. Hopefully that was interesting. If you've not subscribed, please do. I just like seeing the numbers go up. It is useful. Please send it to a friend who might also find it useful, and I will see you next week.